Hi boys and girls. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check our work from last Thursday, which is page 331 and 334. And so I will zoom in on these pages so you can see them. You'll need to pause this video. The points are in the yellow and your score is 24 out of both pages. Page 331. And here is your second page to grade. So you will note that there are 7 points in the chart, 1 point for each dot, and then a point for each as listed in the yellow. If you did write an informational problem down for number, I believe it's 20, and you solved that, you can count that correct. The next thing that I want you to do is snap a picture of your journal and submit your score to me in Google Classroom. Please make sure that I can see your score clearly in the image. I'm having a real hard time if you're putting it on a slide or a document because I can't get it big enough. And if you can't see it in the picture, I can't see it either. So please try to do a better job, some of you. Picture of your work and 332. So 331 and 332, so that I can see your scores. So our learning goal for today, for this part of the lesson, 710, is I can make a bar graph using survey information. You're watching the Explain Everything video now, and then you're going to complete page 335 and 337. We are going to skip page 336. So this information on this side of the page goes along with the survey that you took in Flipgrid. I compiled all the data as of 3:05. This is the information that I had. So I assume most kids are done doing their Flipgrids for the day. This question says, take a survey. Conduct a survey to determine what breakfast food students in your class prefer. Your teacher will give you a piece of paper, which we did it on Flipgrid with the choices. Eggs, cold cereal, oatmeal, pancake, and other. You and your classmate will each circle your favorite of the 5. Keep your choice secret. So obviously we did that here, and there is your data. Now remember, when you're doing tally marks, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one goes sideways. So each chunk or set is 5. We are going to skip the hypothesis predictions. We would normally do those, but it doesn't make sense to do that when we can't have the conversation around it. What I want you to do next is to make your bar graph for the data. So make sure you're doing a bar graph so that information will go up however many kids liked eggs. And I started you out with the numbers there, and you would fill those in. That was 7. I think that's 7. Yep, 7 there. Okay, so don't forget to give your graph a title and a scale. And the scale's at the side. I started that in the red pen. And again, you can skip number 4. I think you can do the rest on your own. So this is actually the next lesson, and I think that's 711. And it is, I can calculate the mean of a set of data. And we did this earlier in the year, the mean. So this should be a little bit more familiar to you. Some of you may have forgotten, so I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So let's look at what they're asking us out. The first part is a little confusing. It's called leveling out the data. We did some of this in an assessment earlier in the fall, but not much. The mean of a set of data is a number that describes the size of each n equal groups made from n data values. You can find the mean by adding the values and dividing that sum by the number of values. So the part that makes the most sense to me on this one is here. You can find the mean by adding the values and dividing that sum by the number of values. So the first part asks us, Davis made 4 clay pots on Friday, 7 clay pots on Saturday, and 4 clay pots on Sunday. What is the mean number of pots he made each day? Make a drawing to show how the pots for each day can be redistributed, that means placed in a new spot, to find the mean. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a little tally chart. So Friday is here. Let me get a pen. Friday, and then it was Saturday, and it was Sunday. We'll just do S's for both. I think you can figure that out. Friday, he had 4 clay pots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Saturday, he had 7 clay pots. Hopefully I don't run out of room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just barely enough room. And Sunday, he had 4 clay pots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to switch gears here. So that's, you know that, how to do that. That's kind of like creating a tally chart like we did for when I collected the information on your favorite breakfast food. I just put a little line for each one. Now we're going to redistribute this, and we are going to go, and let's see, I want to make sure you can see both. It's going to get a little tight in here for me. So the new one that we're going to do looks like this. Friday, I'm going to do it in a different color pen. Saturday, Sunday. So he had 4 on Saturday, and he had 4 on Sunday. So those are the shorter ones, so I'm going to put them in, and their X's there. And 4. And then he had 4 at least on Saturday. So let's get those 4 in. Okay, now, but he really had 3 more. He had 7 total. So we can redistribute that to find the mean by putting 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here. And what that does is it shows us that we have moved these 3 X's, I kind of circled 4, but just the 3, and we put 1 here, we left 1 there, and we put 1 there. And then we got rid of, oops, it's not letting me get rid of the blue one, but we got rid of this one and that one, and just redistributed them and put them in a different place. And that really does tell us the mean. And the mean, or the ones that they all have in common, are, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's in each of these columns. So now I know that the mean is 5. I'm going to get to a pen here so I can write for you. 5 clay pots they are. Now, you're going to do the same thing that I just demonstrated on problem 2. And I do want to go over how do we find the mean just mathematically. So let me get to that problem. Let's just do number 3 together so that we have that. So the first thing that you're going to do to find the mean, and I'm going to just use the space I have up here, is I'm going to write all my numbers, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. And I'm going to add those all up. So when I add them up, I get 10. 2 and 8 is 10. 7 and 3 more is another 10, so that's 20 and 25. So I get 25 altogether for the total for number 3. And then I'm going to write that here, and then I have to figure out what am I going to divide that by. And so I go back to my original set of numbers and I say I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers here. So I'm going to take that total of 25 and I am going to divide that by 5. Well, I know for my math facts that 5 goes into 25 5 times. And so the answer for the mean is 5. All you're doing is finding, remember another word for mean is average. You're finding the average, and that's probably the word your parents use. So if you're struggling with it at home, say to mom and dad, can you help me find the mean or average of this set of data? And they should be able to help you with that. You go ahead and do 4, 5, and 6, and hopefully this is somewhat familiar to you because we did that in December or January. I think it was January sometime. Have a great day. Don't forget, now you need to take a picture of this work because the other part over here is submit a picture of your work from page 335 and 337. And then you also need to submit